Hi. Okay, so I thought that we should really quickly talk about Horney's theory of womb envy because as it's presented in the slides, it may not be entirely clear. So Horney presented this theory of womb envy not so much as a serious, legitimate theory, but more as a challenge to Freud's theory of penis envy. So in the last section, you guys read about Freud's theory of psychosexual development. And Freud argued that in the phallic stage, males experience the Oedipal complex, in which at this early age, they have romantic feelings towards their mother, and they see their father as a romantic rival for their mother's affection. But Freud argued that males would recognize that the father is larger and more powerful than men and would fear their father. Specifically, Freud argued that they would experience castration anxiety. And as such, they would repress these feelings towards the mother and would come to identify with their father. And this is how males would resolve the Oedipal complex, this developmental stage challenge or crisis to move on to the next stage of psychosexual development. Now, this is all very centered on the male child's experience. And so, what happens with female children? Well, Freud afterwards came up with the Electra complex, in which Freud theorized that at this stage of psychosexual development, females learn that anatomically they are different from males, and upon this realization, experience what he called penis envy. Now, this is problematic for a variety of reasons, one of which is that, according to this theory, there is no direct way to resolve this crisis to move forward in the stages of psychosexual development successfully. And as we read about, if someone becomes fixated at a particular stage in development, it influences their adult personality, etc., according to Freud's theory. And so by default, females are fixated at this early stage of psychosexual development. And Freud concluded from that females were not as mature, evolved developmentally, morally, psychically as males because of their basic biology. And so as a female, Horney had some problems with this theory. And she argued that women are not dissatisfied with their anatomy or their biological sex, and that they don't experience penis envy, that if anything, females, in recognizing in our patriarchal society that males have higher status, they may be envious of that status, that power that males hold in our culture. But it's not the anatomy itself that is the source of the envy, right? It's that social status. And Horney argued that if we're looking at physical anatomy, that if anything, it would be more reasonable for males to experience womb envy because, as she argued, the womb is the source of life, right? That if any part of the anatomy, male or female, is more powerful, it should be the womb. And so males should experience womb envy instead of females experiencing penis envy, as Freud argued. But again, this was more of a feminist challenge to some of Freud's controversial theories. And, this kind of basic theory of females' inadequacy or inferiority in, Freud's psychoanalytic perspective is really interesting. And another reason why I think it's important to understand Freud's experiences as a person in his biography, because if you look at Freud's personal experiences and the relationships that he had in his life, it seems as though his most meaningful relationships were with females in his life. He was extremely close with his mother, and it's reported that he had little to no relationship with his father. His father was old enough to be his grandfather at the time, had adult children, and Floyd, of course, not being highly connected to his father the way that he was with his mother. And then if you look at Freud's later years, he was very close to his daughter, Anna Freud, which is the only one of his children who followed in his psychoanalytic footsteps. And Anna Freud was the one who lived with him and cared for him when he was suffering from cancer. And they were very close. And so it's interesting to see these theories that could be recognized as offensive to women and to females, despite the fact that his meaningful relationships in his life seem to be female dominated. All right, thanks guys.